Hi Betty, I'm going to go ahead and do a video for you to make this easier. And one thing I wanted to show you is, see, I keep my roll of stabilizer just like a roll of paper towel. And I pull it out as I need it and I slice it off. Okay, and now I have a large piece of felt. Remember I told you, actually this is fleece. You can use either felt or fleece or flannel. Those three materials are great as a base if you're not making clothing. If you're putting it on clothing, then you're going to put it on whatever kind of material. But this is really great if you're just going to do some designs and maybe frame them and give them out as gifts, or frame them and put them up in your apartment. Okay, so I want to show you how to hoop. So we have the piece of stabilizer that I just cut off, and you can have it on as big a piece of material as you want. If you cut it down to size, then you're not dealing with a bunch of fabric. But I'm going to go ahead and do it on a larger piece because then I can always add decorations to it and make kind of like a sampler, which I've done that before. Okay, so I'm going to hoop it. I've got to put the phone down because I'm actually recording this on my phone. But I'm going to put it so that hopefully you can see my technique. Okay. Of course, they don't make tripods for phones. And you can barely see. I'm hoping you'll be able to see it. Okay. So you've got the hoop, and the hoop goes in this way. And I've got my stabilizer and my material. Have it on a flat surface, and the base part goes underneath, and now I'm going to hoop. So the insert goes on top. Now it's a little too thick, so I'm going to have to loosen the screw on the base large enough to accept all the material. This material's thick. And the stabilizer. Still not big enough. Okay, that's about as big as it goes. And I know it fits because I've hooped this a million times. Okay. I had to put all my oomph into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is tighten that up. So flip it over, tighten this as hard as I can. Remember again, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Okay, and then to make sure that this is stretched enough, because it's a little bit loose, you pull it towards it, over itself, and do that all the way around. Just the material, not the stabilizer. Just the material, and it won't pop out, but it'll get nice and tight. That's the trick to hooping and not have it pop back out. So I'll flip it over on itself and pull gently so that, see now, it sounds like a drum. That's the way you want it to be. So never worry about the stabilizer. It doesn't matter how wrinkly the stabilizer is. It just matters the material. It needs to be nice and firm. Just like a drum. So you can, and I like to make it as tight as I possibly can. And so the best way to do is fold it back over on itself, because then the hoop won't pop out. And then constantly be pushing that back in. Okay, I hope this is all in the frame of the camera. I'll watch the video to make sure. Okay, so that is hooped now. Let me move the camera so you can watch what I'm doing on the machine. Okay, the machine, you notice, is turned off. It's not on. It's plugged in. I've got the embroidery unit. I'm going to make sure. Now you slide this over until it clicks. You hear that click? It's got to click. And then the hoop, you put it under, of course. And I'm going to pick up the phone for a second so you can see. It's perfectly flat. And it goes in between. See that? Perfectly flat. And then push until it clicks. There we go. And so it is clicked in just like that. Now, you can see it's off a little bit. And when I turn on the machine and choose a stitch, it will recalibrate. Okay. So now I need to put in my card. So I'm going to select my card, put it in, click, then turn on the machine. And you see the hoop calibrated so that it went around and put it back to the perfect center. Now, when you're choosing a design, because now the designs are in the bottom screen, nothing's in the top, because I haven't selected anything. So let's select the hourglass. When I select the hourglass, it comes up into the top. Let's say, no, I don't want to do the hourglass. It looks too boring. Now, if you keep selecting on this embroidery where it says EMB, it's got a hand in it with a card. If you keep pushing on that, it will scroll through. So let's do these hearts. That's much prettier. Now to do this, what it's going to show up here is all the color changes. So you have 6 color changes on this one design. So then I go to the booklet. This is the booklet for the card. And I need to go find that design. Okay, here's the design, because this is not a color screen. It's only a mono. So it's just the greenish background of the LED or LCD, and then it's got the blue writing. So here is the 2 hearts with the ribbon that I chose. It tells me it'll take 15 minutes, and it shows me all the colors. So color number 1 is the darker blue. Color number 2 is the lighter blue. So you can tell by what the number is. So these books are really important. Whenever you buy a card, if you buy any cards, you want to make sure they come with a book. Without the book, you're going to have to stitch them out to see what color's what. Okay, so now I go to my threads, which I have over 300 colors of thread. Okay, so there's, you can see that, and that, and then I have more over here, and I keep them all in cabinets so they don't get dusty and they stay nice and clean, because I've had these colors for several years now and they look brand new. So it's really important to keep them in some kind of cabinet or covered in some way so they don't get dusty. Okay. So now I'm going to pick some colors. I've got a darker blue. I'm going to do, because that's the shadow, the shading of the heart, because it makes it look like a 2D heart. So I'm going to use this color blue, and then I'm going to use this color blue because they're compatible blues. And that's going to be the 1 and 2. And so what I do is I line them up. Let's see if you can see. Oops. I line them up so that I know which color goes. And so then color number 3 is the darker pink. See if it'll focus. Come on, focus. Sometimes it wants to focus far away. Anyway, take my word for it. 3 is the darker pink. 4 is the lighter pink. So now I'm going to go back over here to my colors. And let's go with this one as the darker and this one as the lighter. Because, you know, when you want compatible colors. Okay? So there's my darker pink and my lighter pink. And then I have color 5 is yellow and color 6 is orange. Now, I'm not an orange lover, so I would probably do the ribbon. And let's do something different. Let's do the ribbon in, let's do it in purple. So 2 colors of purple. So I'm going to do like a medium purple here. And actually, why don't we do it in yellow and purple? Because yellow and purple are really pretty together. So I'm going to do, my house has yellow and purple on it. Okay, so I'm going to do number 5 is yellow and number 6 is purple. So now I have all my colors for this design lined up. And then as I use them, I put them away so I don't get confused. Okay? So I know number 1 is the dark blue. So let's get the thread loaded and let's get sewing. Okay. Try to make sure you can see everything. I wish I had a tripod. That's probably as good as I'm going to be able to get it. Now, I have all cones, okay? And cones, you've got 2 options with them. This size of cone will still fit. So, you know, you're good to go. Now, cones do work better with this kind of contraption. It's called a cone holder. Okay? And so it goes on like that. And then it goes up through this little guide. And it sits beside your sewing machine. Which of course is probably out of the picture frame. Because then the thread will come off better. When a cone, if you have cones, okay. Let me start over. This thread was tangling up. So you know how to thread the machine since you have this machine. I'm not sure if you know how to use the automatic threader, but I did fix that automatic threader on that machine, so I know it works. So you've got to make sure that the needle is all the way at the highest point, and then you see this little metal thing that comes around? Hook it under that, come straight across and under. You're going to hook under this little metal thing. Hold it taut, push it all the way this down as far as it'll go, and then let it pull up. And you can see the hoop of thread, the looped, you see, it comes out, and you just pull it through. Now with this machine, you do not need to pull up the bobbin because the bobbin is tucked inside. But you do have to put down the presser foot and then start to sew. Now what I do is I start like so, stop it after a few stitches. I lift up the presser foot so I've got clear aim, and I need to cut that tail. Put the presser foot back down and resume sewing. Now this is a pretty quick part, so I'm going to leave it running so you can see it's going to come up, and then there's going to come 2 spools here, and it's going to beep. And that means change the thread color. This machine stitches so beautifully. They do not come any better than this machine. Even my 12,000, hear the beep? And look, you see the 2 spools? That meant change the thread. So you're going to lift up the presser foot. It's already cut. Now, because this is all electronic, it is best for you to cut this thread up at the top and pull it out here. Try and get into that habit. That way you're not going against and going in reverse, which the machine was not designed to have the thread going backwards in it. So, okay, now I've got to switch the thread. Okay, so I'm going to, and like I said, I put this away so I don't get confused. Go to thread number 2, which is the light blue, and now I need to thread the machine. So I'm going to put it in my cone holder, bring it through, thread it normally. Now because the presser foot is up, there's of course no tension. Now it will always stop at the highest point, so you don't need to touch the needle. So you bring this down, hook it over around that. I hope you can see this. And under, and then let it pull it through. Okay. Put the presser foot down and resume sewing. And it will automatically, then I stop, of course, to trim my thread. You need good little nippers. These are kind of getting worn out, so they're not as good as they used to be. And resume. Now this one is showing what number 2 is. Number 2 is the fill of that heart. So it's going to fill up that entire heart. So as you can see, I chose blue on a blue background, but it still shows up quite nicely. Somehow I must have taken off automatic focus. Okay, there you go. See, it's focusing now. Now the first thing it does is well, it's filling it in. Now on your machine, I bought it. I did get the machine at Goodwill, but I had to buy the embroidery unit separately. And I got it on eBay, and then I bought that presser foot that is on your machine because it didn't have that presser foot, which is for the embroidery unit. And then I also bought the cards that I included because nothing was with that machine. I know you were asking, so I was thinking about it last night. You paid $270 after the discount that I gave you because we dropped the embroidery unit. And I had $120 into the machine. And then I had to pay the shipping, which was $43. And then I also have to pay eBay fees, which are about $30. So I ended up making about $80 on that machine. I didn't make a killing. I just made a little bit. I spent a lot of my time, you know, getting the machine parts together and then cleaning. I took that machine apart and cleaned it from bobbin to top so that I knew that it was really good to go, because actually the tension was a little off because there were threads stuck inside the machine. Anyway, I wanted to show you one more time how when it gets to the end of this color that it will beep again at me. I'm going to pause it though just to save some time and space on this video. Okay, here we are back. It's now almost done. So I want you to see how the screen does. See the two spools? It's telling me change thread to the next color. Okay. Well, I think that's... I'll go ahead and finish it up and show you at the end what it looks like. So here it is doing the pink, which is number 3. So I can see here on number 3 what to expect. Okay, it's just the outline or the shadow of heart number 2. Again, there's the color change. And now here it is doing the next color. Okay, this video is now getting to be about 23 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it and start another video when the design is complete. Okay? Bye, Betty.